Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Real Time, where we talk about the movies we like.
And the ones we don't.
I'm Tyler,
And I'm Molly.
and today we're going to be talking about our top 5 favorite Christmas movies. Maybe it's a little bit early in the month for this kind of video, but what the heck, why not?
I don't think it's too early. I love Christmas and Christmas movies, so a Christmas YouTube video is definitely not too early.
Okay,
Yeah.
we've been a bit slacking, sort of, because of just not wanting to use other sorts of, editing softwares because I was kind of married to my last one. But, yeah, I'll just suck it up and get back to it, I guess.
Yeah, you gotta get back to work, yeah.
All right, so why don't you start us off with your list? Why don't you?
All right. It was somewhat hard picking out just 5 Christmas movies when I love a whole bunch of Christmas movies. Because, if I haven't already mentioned, I really like Christmas. But to start off my list, my number 5 pick is Home Alone. It is a classic. I just like the character of Kevin McAllister. He's such a funny little kid, and all those tricks and like the traps he creates for the wet bandits are just so funny. Just everything he thinks of is very clever. I wish I was like him whenever I was a kid. That clever. That would be pretty cool. But I mean, if you aren't familiar with the Home Alone movie, this little boy, Kevin, is accidentally left home alone while his whole family goes to Paris.
Ew.
Yeah. I don't know why you'd want to go to Paris for Christmas, but
I don't know why you would want to go to France.
yeah. Anyways, they head off to Paris, and on the plane there, the mom realizes she left Kevin at home. Kevin was banished to the upstairs bedroom, so
The attic.
yeah, the attic, so no one remembered to wake him up. They were already in a rush because they slept in late. There were just a lot of little things that led to Kevin being forgotten. There was a little boy who accidentally got counted in the number of kids who were there, so they had the right number of kids, but they were counting the wrong boy. His ticket got thrown away, or passport.
Both.
They both accidentally got thrown away during the mess with the pizza. So poor Kevin was left home alone. And at first, he really enjoys it because he thinks it's his fault. He thinks he accidentally wished his family away.
It wasn't an accident. He asked for it.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, not an accident, I guess. But yeah, he really enjoys it at first, but as the days go on and as these 2 thieves try to break into his house, he realizes how much he does love his family and wants them back.
Yeah, we just watched this movie for Christmas last night, so it's pretty fresh in our memories.
Mm-hmm. It's one of my favorites. I really look forward to watching it every Christmas.
Yeah, so do I. It's a really fun and funny movie. The first 10 to 15 minutes or so are kind of hard to get through because his family is they all suck pretty much. So that part's a bit hard to get through, but after that it's all smooth sailing.
Yeah, those first few minutes kind of make you on Kevin's side. You're like, okay, I would not like it if I was in this family too, so I see where Kevin's coming from.
And of course, a wonderful performance from John Candy, and basically a 5-minute role in this movie seals the deal on what is a pretty great Christmas classic.
I agree.
All right, why don't you keep going down your list?
Oh, okay. So my number 4 pick is Gremlins. I had problems deciding between Gremlins or Krampus, but I think I like Gremlins just a little bit more, so it made it on the list. Gremlins is a classic. I do watch this every Christmas. I just remember I used to watch this movie all the time when I was little because my grandma had it on VHS, and it would kind of scare me. I think it scared my brother a lot, but I think I was only a little scared. Rewatching it as an adult, I'm like, I don't know why this is a scary movie, because it's just really fun. Those little gremlin monsters, I think, are they're pretty fun. They're pretty entertaining. But Gremlins, basically, this eccentric dad brings home this creature to his son for Christmas called the Mogwai. And the Mogwai have to follow 3 simple rules. Don't get it wet. Keep it away from bright lights. And the most important one, don't feed it after midnight.
Don't do it.
Yep. Which, of course, the main character, Billy, doesn't follow these rules on accident. Because after he gets Gizmo wet, Gizmo reproduces.
Well, that wasn't his fault. That was the little neighbor boy, Corey Feldman's fault.
Yeah. He spilled some water on him. Gizmo reproduced by popping out some babies, I guess. I don't really know. And the creatures that came from Gizmo, they're a little bit naughty. They're a little bit mischievous. So they cut the clock wires to trick Billy into feeding them after midnight. Which, as we all know, leads to the gremlins going into a
Cocoon.
Cocoon. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. And developing into a different looking creature entirely.
Yeah, they metamorphosize into gremlins. I probably messed that word up, but you get what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying. And of course, the gremlins wreak havoc on the streets at Christmas time. Quite a fun watch, I think. My all-time favorite scene from that movie is when that grumpy old lady comes to the door because she hears carolers, and it's just a bunch of gremlins dressed up in like scarves, and they're singing at the front door, and she freaks out. It's hilarious.
And then the gremlins sabotage her chair that she uses to go up the stairs, then flings her out the window. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Because she's been a really hateful character the whole movie, so it's great to see her get her comeuppance.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite part. All right. I think I'm going to move on to my number 3 pick, It's a Wonderful Life. This is probably the only movie on my list that is a completely serious movie. Looking at my list. I mean, this one's a classic. If you haven't seen it yet, you really need to. It just really... I cry every time I watch it, I think. And it's like, I've seen it so many times, and I'm always like, okay, this time I won't cry. But yet, it always brings me to cry. And the thing is, it's not sad tears that come out of your eyes while watching this movie. You're just so happy, and it just fills you with such a Christmassy mood that you just can't help it. So with It's a Wonderful Life, we're just focusing on... I'll just talk about it briefly because I know it's probably on your list. I'll talk about it briefly. Jimmy Stewart plays...
George Bailey.
His name escaped me. And this movie basically follows George's life. He's kind of down on his luck. So an angel comes down to show him what life would be like if he wasn't around. And George realizes that, life isn't too bad. He's got it pretty good. Which, I mean, you've probably seen cartoons that spoofed this idea. I remember iCarly did it, and I think...
That's not a cartoon.
Well, sorry. Well, kids shows.
Fairly Odd Parents did it.
Yeah, I was about to say I remember Fairly Odd Parents and iCarly. There's probably been more.
Rugrats did it.
I don't remember Rugrats. But I'm sure, yeah. I don't remember that one. I just remember iCarly and Fairly Odd Parents.
I'm sure others have done it. It's you see this plot in kids shows all the time.
Yeah. But with that, I'll move on because I know we'll probably talk about it more in depth later. Great movie. It's just so heartfelt and, yeah, like I said, I cry every time.
Looking at both yours and my list, most of these movies on both of our lists we've done full-length reviews on, so if you want more details on any of them, just look back at our previous videos, and you'll find some more thoughts.
Yeah. All right. So my number 2 pick is Elf. This is a movie that is right up my alley. It is so funny. It's like my type of humor. I just laugh every time. I watch this movie every year, and it just makes me laugh every time. It's also very special to me because it's a family tradition. Every year on Thanksgiving night, we get together and we drink hot cocoa and we watch Elf. And that's one of my favorite family traditions because I love the movie and I love hot chocolate. So sitting around and enjoying everyone's company while watching this movie is just a good time. So I really associate it with a lot of good feelings. But with Elf, Will Ferrell plays Buddy the Elf. He's a human, but he snuck into Santa's bag whenever he was a baby. So he's a human who was raised by elves. And when Buddy the Elf finally realizes that he's actually a human, he goes to New York to find his actual dad, and hilarity ensues. You wouldn't think that this movie would be so funny, just like looking at the basic plot, but there's a lot of humor in here. I love all the little jokes. I can't even think of my favorite part, but there's so many little funny parts thrown in this movie that, like I said, it makes me laugh every time. I see it probably multiple times a year, and I still crack up every time. It's just a really, really nice movie. I know it's a bit mainstream now. It's more of one of the popular movies, but I still really like it. Excuse me. Do you want me to go on with my number 1, or do you want to do number 1s together? Is my number 1 different than yours?
Well, do you have any honorable mentions?
Yeah. Like I said, Krampus is one of my honorable mentions. Probably is it the 2000 Grinch?
Yeah.
Yeah, the 2000 Grinch. I really like that one. I like the Nativity Story. And I like A Christmas Story a lot. And Jingle All the Way is always a good one, even though it's a bit silly, but it's still funny.
Bit of a guilty pleasure, but that's okay.
Yeah, I still like that one a lot. That's all I could think of, I think, off the top of my head.
Well, I'm going to start with my list because I see that we actually have the same number 1.
Okay. That sounds fine.
So, my number 5 is The Nativity Story. I feel like this is probably one of the most important parts of the Christmas story, the Jesus part.
Yeah, that is a big part.
The Nativity Story is basically the story of Mary and Joseph making their way back to Bethlehem so that Mary can have her baby and Joseph can take part in the census or whatever it was that King Herod decided to set up so that he can find the baby that it was prophesied to be the king of the Jews.
Yeah, I really like this movie too. Like I said, it was on my honorable mention. It just didn't quite make the list. It's just it's nice to get a movie that's set back in the actual day of Jesus's birth. So it's interesting, and it's a pretty nice movie to watch.
It has a nice story, and one of the earliest roles from Oscar Isaac, in fact. This was before everyone knew who he was, and he blew up.
Yeah, and he didn't actually blow up. He got famous. That's a good joke.
No,
Tyler.
it wasn't.
Whatever.
Anyways,
it's a good movie.
Yes, it is. It's a great story about the story of Christmas, and I try to watch it every year.
Yeah. Yeah, I've watched it every year since we even met, I think. You're the one who's introduced me to it.
Yep. I mean, I'm struggling with coming up with things to say about this movie because it seems kind of basic. It's the story of Christmas.
Yeah. So, yeah. It's a pretty popular story.
Yeah, I'd say so. My number 4 is Gremlins. Now, you've said basically everything that needed to be said in your portion. So, there isn't a whole lot for me to say.
Do you have a favorite part?
It's really hard to say because I love basically this whole movie.
It's a good one, yeah.
Although, did you know that originally they were going to put a monkey in the gremlin suit?
That's weird.
Yeah, it didn't go through because they realized that having a monkey in this suit would be a really bad idea.
Yeah, I can see that being a bad idea.
And really, it's a really great creature movie. We have, it's all practical effects for the gremlins, which is nice to see.
Yeah, I really like that. I think that really helps my enjoyment. I'm a huge fan of practical effects.
Gremlins 2 is not a Christmas movie, though, so we're probably not going to be we're not going to take a look at it for the Christmas season, but maybe in January, because that's when most studios dump their horror movies.
Okay, yeah. I wouldn't mind watching Gremlins 2 again. It's been a while.
But Gremlins is possibly the best. No, it is the best Halloween horror movie. I don't care what anyone says.
Halloween horror movie.
Christmas horror movie.
There you go. Yeah, I enjoy it.
My number 3 is Die Hard. Now, there's a whole debate between people on the internet about, if this is a Christmas movie or not. And, well, really, I don't really see that too much because more often I see people complaining about people who say it's a Christmas movie. That's basically it.
Yeah, I'm on the side that it's a Christmas movie. There's just a lot of Christmas imagery, a lot of Christmas symbols.
The plot takes place because of Christmas?
Yes, if you were to change the fact that it was on Christmas, it would change the movie considerably.
I mean, if you change the fact that it's on Christmas, you have to change the whole plot because, yeah, you could have it just be set during an office party, like, say, 4th of July or something, but that would change the whole dynamics of the story.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it would just change a lot if it wasn't around Christmas. So, yeah, that definitely leads me to say that this is a Christmas movie because of that.
That, plus all the Christmas music in the soundtrack. Like, seriously, there's instrumental versions of Silent Night, Joy to the World, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Let It Snow, I think.
Let It Snow.
Yeah, so, yeah, lots of Christmas stuff.
Lots of Christmas stuff. And it's such a tightly construction action movie that there's basically no fat. This movie is paced perfectly. There's no time lost. Like, seriously, if you added or took away, you would have a worse movie. Yeah,
I agree. It's just everything in there just really works well.
You have a perfectly likable protagonist in John McClane, a devilishly delightful antagonist in Hans Gruber, and just the most interesting and most charismatic side characters I've ever seen. Like, seriously, some of these side characters have more life in them than some entire movies full of characters.
Yeah, sometimes I'm not the biggest fan of action movies. I think they could get repetitive, but this is one of my favorite action movies of all time, probably.
I mean, Jake Peralta was right. This is probably one of the best action movies there is.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, what else is there to say? Just go watch this movie. And also Die Hard 2 is a Christmas movie, but it's not as good as the first one.
I don't remember Die Hard 2.
Well, I haven't shown you Die Hard 2.
I thought we watched it.
We watched Die Hard 3.
Oh, we skipped Die Hard 2. Okay. Weird.
My number 2 is It's a Wonderful Life. To me, this is one of the most heartwarming and most feel-good movies that I've ever seen. It's a story about this poor guy, which, yeah, you already said that, who is just, he's basically the Wilt from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends holding a door of his life. He just can't keep himself from doing good stuff for others despite the cost it's going to do to him.
Yeah, and that really gets him discouraged, but as we all know, he's a great guy, and everything he does for other people really helps out the town.
It helps the town, it helps people outside of the town, given the fact that if he didn't save his brother from drowning in the river, he wouldn't have saved those people in World War II.
Yeah,
So he does a lot more good than he realizes, and he gets shown that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just really nice.
It's the story of how one man can make a difference.
Yeah, it is.
Now, before we get to our number ones, I'm going to go through my honorable mentions. Krampus. We literally just watched this movie. It's a very fun Christmas horror movie. Lots of practical effects for the creatures, and it's just a grand old fun time.
Oh yeah, I agree. I love those practical effects.
Black Christmas, the original, just a fun slasher movie set on Christmas with interesting characters, fun suspense. That's kind of weird, but yeah.
Yeah, it is fun suspense. You're right.
Yeah, you're in suspense, but you're having a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
And it's just a whole good time.
I agree.
Joy at Noel. This movie is about the 1914 Christmas truce during the First World War, and how just nobody wanted to fight each other afterwards for the next couple of days.
Yeah, really interesting, especially since this actually really happened.
A Christmas Story, like we said in our video on this and Black Christmas, Bob Clark did that and this movie, so very versatile director, but I feel like this is one of, if not the most accurate depictions of childhood ever put in a movie.
Yeah, really fun to watch. It really captures being a kid around Christmas time.
Never mind that, it captures being a kid in general.
That too, yeah.
I mean, yes, at Christmas, but just in general, this is probably one of the this is the best depictions of childhood in movies, like I said.
Okay.
And finally, Miracle on 34th Street, the original. Although the remake isn't bad either. I feel like Edmund Gwenn was a wonderful Santa Claus. Like, I believe this man was Santa Claus in this movie.
I forgot an honorable mention.
Is it Ernest Saves Christmas?
Yes, I can't believe I forgot about that movie. It may have even been on my list if I would have remembered.
You know what? That's on my honorable mentions too.
Okay. You gotta love Ernest Saves Christmas. I'm a big Ernest fan.
Anyways, Edmund Gwenn was amazing as Santa. Probably my favorite. If it weren't for Richard Attenborough from the remake. Like, the original is a better movie overall, but I feel like Richard Attenborough was a more warm and welcoming presence as Santa than Edmund Gwenn was. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah. I'm not as much of a fan of the Miracle on 34th Street movies as you are. I find them to be just a little bit boring. Sorry. I'm sorry, I know.
Anyways, yeah, that'll wrap it up for our honorable mentions. Now let's get to our number one.
Yep, we share our favorite movie.
And
so
our favorite Christmas movie is The
Muppet Christmas Carol.
I mean, what is there to say? It's a Christmas Carol, which is already one of my favorite stories of all time. And if there was no Muppet Christmas Carol, I probably would have had a Christmas Carol movie at number one anyways. But then just add the Muppets in, and I'm there.
Yeah, this is a great adaptation of the Christmas Carol. I read the book, A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, and with all of the movie adaptations I've seen, I can honestly say that the Muppets Christmas Carol is the closest to the book. I think it takes the dialogue straight from the pages, and even though there's Muppets on the screen, I think it does a really good job with just immersing you into the story.
I haven't read a Muppet Christmas Carol. I haven't read a Christmas Carol.
Yeah, I knew what you meant.
I have listened to it on Audible. It had Tim Curry as Ebenezer Scrooge, though. That was really great.
Yeah.
Well, he's narrating the whole thing, but he's Ebenezer Scrooge.
Yeah.
Which is funny because he would later be in Muppet Treasure Island as John Silver.
Yeah.
Anyways, this isn't about that. This is about Muppet Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
And how amazing it is.
Yeah, and the music. I love the music. I have all the songs on my Christmas playlist that I listen to every year. It's just very Christmassy. This one really gets me in the mood for Christmas.
Yeah, we watch it at least 2 or 3 times during the Christmas season every year.
Yeah, because you can't just watch it once. It's just so nice.
You know, it's a great movie. I love how seriously Michael Caine took this movie. He said that he was going to treat the Muppets like they were his fellow, human actors, which is precisely what director Brian Henson wanted.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, he does a great job. And the Muppets are put in perfect roles. Gonzo is Charles Dickens, so he's kind of the narrator. Rizzo plays himself, but the other Muppets are put into roles that I think really go with their personalities, if you're familiar with the Muppets before watching this movie.
Kermit is perfectly cast as Bob Cratchit.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
Fozzie Bear is Fozziewig.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just think that's just that's just too funny.
It's pretty funny. Usually Fozzie gets pretty big roles in Muppet movies, but this one is a little bit small for him, but it fits because he plays, in the book, it's Fezziwig, but since it's Fozzie, they change it to Fozziewig, and that is pretty hilarious.
That's probably not as funny as I'm taking it, but it's just too funny.
It's good. It's a nice joke. I like it.
Oh man, I have tears. That's just it's making me laugh too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have those 2 old guys, Statler and Waldorf, as the Marley brothers. 2 Marleys this time instead of just the one.
Yep, there is 2 Marleys, but it's believable since they're played by Statler and Waldorf. They got to go together.
Yeah, you don't split those guys up.
No way.
That would just be silly. You don't want to be silly.
No.
And like you said, the music is great. I love it. But my only real complaint is that the version on Disney Plus and the one that you can get on other streaming, they leave out When Love Is Gone. Why would you do that?
Yeah, I thought that was weird. Whenever on the VHS I had growing up when I would watch this movie, it had that song on it. And then the DVD we got has the song on it. And then one day we watched it on Disney Plus because we're too lazy to put DVDs in. And I was just like, that's missing a whole freaking song. What happened? I was just so confused because I didn't even realize that the theatrical release didn't even have that song in it.
Now on Disney Plus, they do have an option to watch it, but why not just have it in there? Why just have it as an extra off to the side?
Yeah, I don't know.
Y'all are goofy, Disney.
Yeah, a little goofy.
But yeah, to me, this is my favorite Christmas movie, and this is my favorite Muppet movie too.
Oh, it's hard to say what my favorite Muppet movie is. We need a video where I can rank my favorite Muppet movies.
Well, that is on the agenda for next year to
that
do
would be nice.
the rest of the Muppet movies.
Because I don't think this is my favorite Muppet movie, though it is my favorite Christmas movie. I think.
It's either this one or Muppets Take Manhattan for me. They're both really good.
There's a lot of good Muppet movies out there.
Muppet Treasure Island is also really good. And then there's also the original Muppets and 2011 Muppets.
Mm-hmm.
Muppets Most Wanted is also pretty fun, too.
Yeah. The Great Muppet Caper. Yeah.
We love the Muppets, is what we're trying to say.
Yes. Yes, we do.
And even more poignant, this is the first Muppet movie to be done after the deaths of not just Jim Henson, but Richard Hunt as well. He had died from HIV a little bit after Jim Henson had died.
Yeah. So, it probably meant a lot for them to do this movie well, and I think they really accomplished their goal here.
Well, it opens with in memory of Jim Henson and Richard Hunt, so it's like, all right, starting movie off sad. I see how it is.
Yeah.
But I think they did a fantastic job, in all honesty.
I agree. It is on my favorite Christmas movie, so.
That'll do it for us for today. But I think next time we should take a look at Ernest Saves Christmas. What do you think?
Yes, please. I forget we need to watch it this Christmas before it's Christmas.
Well, we can find it on YouTube for free, so that's okay.
Yes. Cool.
That's going to be it for us today. We'll catch you folks later.
See you next time.